What's happening in Ukraine is hugely important for the future of the world. If Vladimir Putin succeeds, then the international rules will be written by our adversaries. That's the calm and cool reality of the situation. The stakes are very, very high. If a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council can tear up the United Nations Charter, the Budapest Memorandum, the Helsinki Final Act, the Vienna document, all of these betrayals that is represented by what Vladimir Putin has done today, then the order that we have grown used to in Europe disappears and will almost certainly be replaced by the rules of order written by China, by Russia, by North Korea and by Iran, the authoritarian regimes in the world today. And that'll be a very, very uncomfortable world for us to live in. I don't believe that Vladimir Putin will use a victory to attack NATO countries, because Article 5 is there, which gives a unique protection. I'm the only person in NATO's history who has invoked Article 5, the principle of an attack on one country is an attack on all. And I firmly believe I'll be the only person in NATO's history ever to do it, because I don't believe that any adversary would be crazy enough to cross the Article 5 line with military force. But hybrid warfare has brought a completely new dimension. And if Vladimir Putin wins in Ukraine, you can bet an emboldened Putin will use the other instruments of cyber warfare, of attacks on our critical national infrastructure, through disinformation, through organized crime and corruption, and interfering in our democratic elections and our democratic systems. That is what would be at stake here in Ukraine. Never mind the territorial integrity of a sovereign nation state, but our security and our safety are also being compromised, and that's why the Ukrainians have got to win. I spent 4 years as Secretary General of NATO trying to persuade Sweden and Finland to become full members of NATO, and Vladimir Putin managed it in 4 weeks. Both Sweden and Finland believed that they were neutral, and they stood apart from the NATO alliance, believing that they were safer in that non-aligned status. But the invasion of Ukraine, completely unprovoked by a nuclear power, persuaded them that they had to become part of the alliance. And I think that has highlighted the fact that in a world with Vladimir Putin doing what he is doing today, there is no such thing as neutrality or non-alignment, because he's made it impossible for that situation to arrive. And no country is going to be neutral when the migrants come across the Mediterranean Sea. No country is going to be non-aligned or neutral if adversaries use the grey zone, use hybrid warfare, and attack through cyber and organized crime and disinformation. Neutrality sort of disappears like a will-o'-the-wisp. So, I hope that countries who, like Sweden and Finland, think that they are safer by not being the alliance, recognize that the NATO alliance represents a degree of security and safety for their people that is priceless.